The thong exists because modern clothing demanded an absence. For much of history, underwear was not meant to vanish. It insulated, absorbed, structured, and protected. Outer garments were thick, layered, and forgiving. The line between what was worn underneath and what was seen from the outside was generous. As fashion shifted toward lighter fabrics and closer fits, that generosity disappeared. Clothing began to trace bodies rather than suggest them. Seams became visible through thin materials. Elastic created ridges. Full coverage underwear stopped being invisible and started becoming an artifact, something the garment revealed instead of concealed. The problem wasn't moral or cultural. It was mechanical. Fabric stacked on fabric produces edges. Those edges interrupt smooth lines. Designers faced a choice: redesign outerwear to accommodate underwear, or redesign underwear to disappear beneath outerwear. The thong is the result of choosing disappearance. Its most defining feature, the narrow back, exists to eliminate a specific failure point. That area is where seams and edges are most visible under fitted clothing. By removing fabric there, the thong removes the problem entirely rather than trying to soften it. This is a design philosophy of subtraction. The waistband remains because stability matters. Without it, the garment would shift, fold, or migrate. The front panel remains because structure and hygiene require it. Everything else is reduced to the minimum needed to keep the garment in place. This creates a series of trade-offs. Coverage is sacrificed for consistency. Comfort becomes dependent on fit and material rather than cushioning. The garment asks the wearer to tolerate sensation in exchange for visual smoothness. That exchange is intentional. The thong assumes the wearer values how clothing looks externally more than how underwear feels internally. That assumption doesn't apply to everyone, which is why the thong is optional rather than universal. But for those who prioritize the silhouette, it solves a specific problem better than any alternative. Material choices reinforce this purpose. Stretch fabrics allow movement without shifting. Flat seams reduce pressure points. Elastic is tuned to hold without digging. Each choice attempts to minimize the cost of minimalism. The thong does not aim to be forgotten through softness. It aims to be forgotten through predictability. Once in place, it does not change shape. It does not bunch. It does not announce itself through lines or folds. It becomes a stable absence beneath clothing. This leads to the realization that often arrives late. The thong is not designed for the body alone. It is designed for the relationship between body and clothing. It exists to protect the illusion that outerwear creates: smoothness, continuity, intentional form. It allows garments to behave as designed without interference from what lies beneath. In that sense, the thong is infrastructure. It supports something else without being seen. When it works, it disappears entirely. When it fails, it becomes immediately noticeable. Invisible design succeeds when it removes friction. People don't want to manage. The thong removes the need to think about seams, lines, and adjustments. It shifts attention back to the garment being worn rather than the layers beneath it. That is why the thong persists even as fashions change. Not because it is the most comfortable solution, but because it is the quietest one.